Okay, we're going to do the handout, the learning targets number 1 and number 2 in this handout. So we're going to practice what we just did in learning target 0, which is graphing a straight line. So here my y-intercept is 3. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pink dot at 3, okay, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. Now my slope is -4. So that means from this point right here, I'm going to go down 4 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. Down 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. And then I'm going to use my ruler to draw a line. Okay? And here we go. Okay? And now we've got something called constraints, and this says that it has to be between -1 and 2. So what we're talking about is I'm going to look at my paper, and between -1 and 2. So we're looking at the values on the x-axis. So here's 2. So if you look at the x-axis, we're only looking at the x-axis, and this constraint says we're between -1 and 2. So if we between -1 and 2, it's only between here and here. Okay? And so only between and there and there. I'm going to highlight it with a darker color. Let's see. So from here to here. Okay? And that is our line with our constraints. Okay? Let's do this next one. Same sort of thing. Okay, so there's no number here, so my y-intercept, just imagine there was a +0, so my y-intercept is at 0. And my slope is 4/3, so that means I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 3. Up 4, over 3, I can draw my line. I'm going to draw it fairly light. Okay, and now I'm going to look at my constraints. My constraints are between 0 and 3. So when x is 0, it doesn't go to the left of this yellow thing. And when x is 3, I'm not going to go to the right of this yellow barrier. So the x constraints are between 0 and 3. Okay, and so now I can color in boldly this portion, and that is the equation of this line with the constraints between 0 and 3. Okay, same thing. Now this one has no constraints, so we're just going to plot the y-intercept, my pink dot, and my slope is -2 over 3. -2 over 3. Okay, and there is my line. Okay, and then here my y-intercept is -1, so I'm going to put my dot here at -1, and my slope is +1/3, so I go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. But here I could go down 1 to the left 3, down 1 to the left 3, and then I can graph my line. Okay, and now I'm going to get a bold marker and go between my constraints, -3, so my constraint, the lower x constraint is -3, and the upper one is 6. So at 6, we're going to stop there. So it has to be between the yellow constraints, between -3 and 6. And now I can use my bold marker to highlight that, the constraint. Okay, so then the next one is what we did during class. So there's 2 ways we can graph this. One is making a mini table and finding the x and y intercepts. So if I make a mini table, when x equals 0, then I would have 15 times 0 plus 5y equals 30, okay? And so if x is 0, then 15 times 0, that's going to go away. And so I've got 5y equals 30, and we can divide both sides by 5, and I know that y is going to be 6. So I've got a point 0, 6, okay? Now, we can think, okay, when y equals 0, then I have 15x plus 5 times 0 equals 30, because we've made y equal to 0. Now that's going to go, oops, sorry, it's 30. And then, so now I've got 15x equals 30. So if I divide both sides by 15, then I'm going to end up with x equals 2. So I have 2, 0, because we've made y equal to 0 and x is 2. So using method 1, I can plot these 2 points and get my graph. So 0, 6 is right here, and 2, 0 is right here. Okay, so, and I can draw that line. Okay. Now, let's use method 2, and we're going to get the same thing. So, if I'm using method 2, okay, then I'm going to take my equation, 15x plus 5y equals 30. So using method 2, I can subtract 15x on both sides of the equation. Okay, and then after I do that, then I'm going to end up with 5y equals negative 15x plus 30. Okay, and now we're going to make it into slope-intercept 4. So now the next step is we can divide everything by 5. And then I get y equals 15 divided by 5. That is, we're going to have negative 3x, and 30 divided by 5 is 6. Okay? And you're going to see we've got the same thing, because my y-intercept is 6, right? And my slope here is negative 3. So I go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, and I get my line. So both ways get you a graph that's the same. Let's do the same thing for this next graph here. Okay, so when x is 0, we know that we're going to have 0 minus 2y equals 8. So I can divide both sides by negative 2. And then I end up with y equals negative 4. So I'm going to have a point 0, 4. And then when y equals 0, I'm going to have x minus 2 times 0 equals 8. Well, that's really simple. I'm just going to have x equals 8. So now I've got the point 8, 0. And so I can plot those 2 points. 0, 4 is 0, 4. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Should be negative 4. 0, negative 4. So I'm going to go down here to 0, negative 4. And the other point is 8, 0. So 8, 0. So I can plot those 2 points and draw a line. Okay. So let's use method 2. So using method 2, let's rewrite my equation. It is x minus 2y equals 8. So step 1 is we want to get y all by itself. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides of the equation. And then I end up with negative 2y equals negative x plus 8. And then the next step is to, we're going to have to divide both sides of the equation by negative 2. And so now my equation is going to be y equals, okay, negative divided by negative gives me positive, so y equals 1/2 x minus 4. One of the biggest minus 4. Biggest mistake people make is with the sign. So we can see here it's going to give us the same line because my y-intercept here is negative 4 and my slope is 1/2. So I go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and I get the same line. I hope that is helpful.